Hello, brothers and sisters. Cameron here. I hope that your day is going well. It's good to see you. I am so excited to get back into vlogging. I'm going to try to do this once a week, and once I can set my schedule, hopefully soon, I'll be uploading on a specific day. Okay, this is the follow-up to the video that I did where I talked about Jehovah's Witnesses being force-fed low self-esteem. I'm going to be going a little bit over the negatives, but also the positives and how to get past that and continue to develop yourself and all the things that I've learned at this moment that have made me become a better person, more of an alpha male, but also have empathy and sympathy and a lot of more self-awareness. So this video is for ex-JWs who are in that mindset. If you're a current JW, I applaud you on watching. Trust your gut. It's okay to watch these apostate videos. We're just people, and I'm trying to honestly share my knowledge in a non-bullshit way and help people out. And I was a pioneer on my way to Bethel before I left. So if that says anything, I hope it says a lot. And there's a whole bunch of stuff. My story's all over the channel. I hope you really benefit from this. So what happened is, in the last video, I talked about the 10 common strategies and things that JWs are force-fed, low self-esteem, and things they're not realizing. And this cycle that happens, that the JW parents are brought in, they're manipulated, their self-esteem is really low, and then that cycle continues to the next generation, and the next generation, and the next generation. It just goes pop, pop, pop. So everyone's fucked over. And this is going to go about like how to get past that by addressing it. It's important to talk about the negatives and the positives. So in my previous videos way back, I remember, and always sticking to this, is fitness. A huge part of feeling better about your situation as an ex-Jehovah's Witness or ex-Mormon or ex-FLDS, ex-agnostic or Hasidic Jew, whatever it is, because there's so many cults out there, and Christianity is very cult-like, in my opinion. I have videos on that. Please go look at those first before jumping all over me, although there's always someone who leaves like paragraph-long Book of Job plans or paragraphs about complaining about that. I currently don't believe in the Bible because I've read it without any influence, and I can't back up a God. This is why I'm agnostic, but I can't believe in the Bible because God murdered children, had women raped in public, and Jesus believes in genocide. So that's all crazy stuff. I'll elaborate on that stuff in other videos. I already have in previous ones. Please go look those up. I'll have some in the description. But let's get to this. Fitness is a huge deal. So feeling better when you work out, dopamine and serotonin are rushed to your brain. Those are the parts of the brain that elicit happiness, and it gets addictive when you feel that happiness. So if you go enough, depending on your current weight and goals, and how much shape you're in, and whatever you want to do to get the level of happiness that you need, working out consistently can make you feel great. And if you haven't, working out 1 day a week to get started is really great. 2 days a week, 3 days a week. I always try to do a minimum of 2, but 3 to 4 days a week. And I'm trying to eventually get to that 5 day a week type of thing, because I always feel better about myself when I do. I don't see a lot of ex-JWs talking about this. I'm going to share some of my fitness stuff on Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, it's at Kameron Fader. I'm also on TikTok now, which has a ton of ex-JWs on there. At Kameron Fader as well, and I have a Facebook page at Kameron Fader. But if you see my real Facebook page, please don't add me there, because that's just for friends and family and a few of the close homies. But go talk to me there. I'm going to be posting some updates on that. What works for me may not work for you, so you've really got, like, if there's a sport that you grew up wanting to play and never had the chance, now's your chance to shine and learn about it. Like, go to a meetup group, go take some lessons, put yourself out there, get out of the house. You will feel better, even if you're a little nervous doing it at first, and go conquer that. Like, one thing for me I want to learn how to do is like sing and dance. I was never allowed to do that unless maybe I wasn't raised in a Spanish congregation where that was just like part of the culture, which I'm kind of jealous of because they know how to dance, and that was a lot of fun. So take some risks. Next thing, I haven't really talked about this too much, is what you put in your body also affects how you feel. And a lot of people that I know on the outside of the Jehovah's Witness world and on the inside of the Jehovah's Witness world, or whatever their cult they came from, they would just eat junk food all the time. Eating a slice of pizza and a Coca-Cola for lunch, and then, In-N-Out for dinner, and candy in between for snacks, and breakfast is just like pancakes with tons of syrup. That's a lot of carbs, so you get a temporary like high from eating the sweet stuff and the sugar and the high fructose corn syrup, but it does not make you feel good long term, and it makes you gain weight very quickly. Even if you have a high metabolism and you burn off fat really quick, you can feel like shit. So I just recommend, like, Google what works for you and for your diet regimen. I'm a big believer in lean meats, chicken, pork, fish, which I'm getting into, and red meat every once in a while. I eat a lot of turkey too, veggies, and you can have carbs. You can have, like, I love pop chips. Cheddar pop chips are delicious. I love coffee. I limit myself on that so I don't get addicted to it. And I have dark chocolate almost on a daily basis and chips on a daily basis. And when I'm really watching my macros and my fitness, I look great, I feel great, and I just feel like I can conquer the world. So please implement that. That is the one thing that you can change, like, right away, slowly, is your diet. And it's not, I don't even really want to say diet, just your lifestyle of eating. If you can commit to getting rid of, certain bad things out of the house over time, because if you do it all at once, it's too much. No one has the willpower for that. You're going to crash and burn. I've done it many times. And I know tons of people who have. Just a little bit over time. Google what works for you. If you want to know what I do, leave a comment down below. Or if you want to share what you do, please let us know. I'm very curious to see what works for other people. So doing those two things will change your life forever. Working out for the rest of your life, or doing something physical every other day or several times a week or every day of the week, as long as it works for you and makes you happy, it has the potential to change your life, make you look good, feel good, and meet new people. In doing that, I'm realizing life is really all about self-awareness, something that we were not given as a gift growing up. We had to develop as an adult or as a teenager, in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, whenever you woke up, is self-awareness, accountability, working hard, empathy, and in my case, becoming an alpha male, which does not mean I'm an asshole. I may have an a-hole sense of humor sometimes, but I am and I don't consider myself, and I think a lot of people would agree with the YouTube channel work that I'm doing and Instagram and all that stuff and changing bills with SB360, that I'm not a bad person. I have quirks, but it's my goal to become a legend in this community and give as much as I can back, because no one was there for me when I needed this type of straightforward, non-bullshit advice, and I'm trying to be there for whoever needs to hear this. So having a backbone, giving freely with no expectations, and realizing where my insecurities were coming from, my mother, the cult, my stepdad, all that has a huge hold on your life. And we were raised with super low self-esteem so that we would stay loyal, and the little bit of validation and happiness that we would get from moving in the ranks up in the JWs is what kept us going. And then demonizing the entire world and making think, black and white, we're the good ones, everything else is Satan, is detrimental. It's not open-minded at all. So they forced us to care about everyone else's opinions, and valuing people's opinions on us than our own happiness. And that is detrimental to our own mental health. So that shit spreads like wildfire. It goes from the couple or the parent to the kids, and then it repeats and repeats and repeats. It just pop, pop, pop. It just, boom, fucks everybody up. And in recognizing that dangerous cycle, which I elaborated more on the previous video, is what led me to my next thing, is learning that communication is huge. I was never an elder, but as I said previously before, I was a pioneer, and I was on my way to Bethel. Like, I had the application, and I was ready to go. So, and then I ended up waking up, which is a crazy story. I don't know if I've done a full video on exactly how I woke up, but I know I touched on it in my first video, like first 3 videos, and they did 3 years ago. Crazy, I've been vlogging for 3 years, but this is a huge passion of mine. I see myself doing this for the rest of my life. But on my way to Bethel, I became disfellowshipped, and I ran away from my hometown. So I've noticed that, and I'm looking at my notes up here. I'll be referencing that the whole time. I just had some coffee, so I'm like on fire. That any ex-cult community, many don't take the time for self-development and self-awareness, and we weren't taught how to communicate at all. A lot of people still thrive on gossip, negative assumptions, how to talk to someone who's wronged you, how to confront someone who you might have some misunderstanding towards, or you think they might be doing something to, against you. How to apologize in not only a meaningful way, but empathetically. Those take a lot of humbling And it's a really hard pill to swallow sometimes. I know, like, especially with me, with my sense of humor is very bold and very strong. I have a strong personality now, strong confidence versus where I came from. And I can be, I'm going through this phase of figuring out slowing down, and not everyone can take that, especially XJWs. I'm looking at myself a year and a half from now. I probably couldn't take the me now that I've become. But I know I would be curious about the me now because this person is a lot happier. So let me see my notes here. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Wrote these notes a while ago. So I started to distance myself from being around the XJW community too much on a consistent basis. And I started searching on how to address this like a well-balanced adult. Because if you jump from the XJ or the JW community into the XJW community, which I think is healthy to be around people who understand our pain, because we're in a niche of understanding. There's not a lot of ex-cult survivors out there, but there is more than you think because it is a public safety issue. This is happening everywhere in every culture. I had to limit myself as much as I loved the validation of being around people who understood me. I noticed that a lot of people were stuck and a lot of people weren't making the progress and had a different journey than I did. And we all have similar journeys, but a lot of people were still stuck and didn't have the self-awareness at the moment to realize that they were part of the issue. So I distanced myself, especially people who had positions of power. A lot of ex-elders still act like elders. They're very manipulative, very heavy on gossip and negative assumptions. A lot of, COs or ex-COs and ex-Bethelites, they still have negatives about them because that was ingrained into them. And I just encourage, like, whatever you do, because I had to do this, I had to look myself in the mirror and go, okay, what bad habits do I still have? How can I address them and how can I get rid of them over time? And a lot of that has actually been through dating a lot of people, because I try to be really, really good and clear on communication. And I've learned something about myself with every person that I've ever dated. My roommate is a very alpha male, and I have a lot of very thoughtful and straightforward friends now. And I ask for feedback every once in a while. I'm like, yo, what did I do great here? It's not all the time, but because I'm pretty sure of myself now. I think it's a healthy conversation to have with yourself and with people that you really, truly trust and can be vulnerable with. And what I mean by that, truly trust and be vulnerable with, is mean you can call one of your homies and be like, yo, I just murdered somebody. I need help with the body. Like someone who's close like that, you could call and they would help you put some cinder blocks on the bottom of those shoes and throw it into the river. That's the kind of person and the homie you need to be open and close with. So it's scary and unhealthy to have bad communication, but I wanted to dig into this topic deeper over time, and I've learned to humble myself and communicate better with everyone to the best of my ability at that current moment in time. And don't beat yourself up too much. But if you have wronged someone in the past who's an XJW or will talk to you, it's okay to apologize, but also don't let them run over you. But also try to understand where they're coming from by asking and seeking to understand questions first before you jump to assumptions. It's a huge thing for me. Number 5, we will jump to, I didn't even know I was numbering these, is getting a hobby. Fitness should also be a hobby. I hope that it is a huge hobby for you because it's amazing. But getting a hobby, I'm really into photography and video, and I just started a new Instagram page on with Towers Hill Media. It's my last name. Torres means tower. So if you're not following, you should follow me there. And you can find a link of that on my Instagram, where I am going heavy into social media. I've learned a lot by being on social media the last several years. And it's a huge passion of mine to make people happy. And it's really exciting to see where this is going to go. But get a passion, whether that's art, painting, dancing, maybe going out to the club or going out to a bar for your first time and then getting used to that environment. That's actually something I want to tackle for the end of 2019, 2020, is going out and making friends with random strangers and just getting better at small talk with real people and trying to make meaning, coffee shops too. When I'm out in the store, that was from some advice, solid advice from my very, very first video about how to make friends, is just starting to learn how to be social, because we were taught to not trust anybody who was not one of us. But getting a hobby, if you don't have one, you probably do have a hobby or something that you think you could do. But We were given so much low self-esteem that you didn't believe that you could do it. And you've got to develop a thick skin to think and say to yourself, I don't give a fuck. That's an attitude to have when it comes to chasing your happiness and your passion. If you're out of the cult, your happiness is directly your responsibility now. And give it time. We all have time. Even if, we think we're older, we have time. That's the best thing, is life is long. It's not short like the JWs made us feel like it was. Like the end was right around the corner. The end of the world. You bring a lot of baggage with you for years, and I'm still getting rid of mine, but once you can identify it and see what's unhealthy, you can start to work on it and work through it. And if you're not sure what you'd like to try a bunch of shit and start saying yes to things. Obviously, Google it too. Google is your mom now. Google it. Like, I want to do this hobby or this thing or this questionable thing I wasn't worried about before, or was worried about before, that I'm curious about. Google it. Go on YouTube. Watch testimonials. Talk to friends. Go to meetups. Like, get off your ass. Go do stuff. You've got to taste it, as long as it's not like murdering people. You got to taste it to know if it's your thing or not. And try it several times. It's like ice cream. You got to figure out your flavor. So go out there and get your flavor. Find out what works for you. There isn't much in life that I've learned that can kill you for trying a new passion, besides fear of judgment. That will kill you 100%. Okay. So now you also have to, this is where I'm at in my life right now, is balancing the not give a fuck attitude with the willingness to take feedback. I'd be careful on who you take feedback from. If someone is trying to censor you and tell you shouldn't do this, or you can't do that, or that's rude, or based off of assumptions and ideas that are from the JW cult or from the Bible that don't have any real sense in the real world, they're censoring you for fear of them looking bad. That's on them, not on you. So they're most likely just fearing that judgment for how they look. And that's a huge sign of low self-esteem with their behavior. So their impact is that they're trying to control you. And I've had people that are very close to me and that I thought that I trusted, even now, give me some advice, and I took it. And then later on, it didn't sit well with me. And I was like, you know what? That's not me. Fuck their opinion. They're afraid of judgment for no reason. And it's not based in any research. And the feedback wasn't going either way. So fuck, you have to, who gives a fuck? Like, people who are hating on you and giving you hate, they're in a worse position and they're way unhappier than you are. Parents are famous for doing this, and you'll start seeing this behavior outside of the cult too. 90% of the world population struggles with this approval and judgment of their parents. So you may have cut out the negative people of your life, right? Think about it. Disfellowship, disassociation, marked as an apostate, whatever happened to you, they did you a fucking favor by cutting the negativity out of your life. It's unhealthy and needs to stop with that judgment on your shoulders all the time. And then especially if you're giving up your life and going out in service all the time, or pioneering, or you're a Bethelite, or you're, in foreign land, there's so much that you gave up. And that pressure and stress is so unhealthy, even though you thought you were, taking a hit for the grand team so that way the whole world could benefit. It's not unhealthy, and it leads to unhappiness on the inside to the point where you're screaming. So no matter what you do, the approval of the person that raised you is not valid unless they genuinely care about you and want you to be happy. I know when I have kids, because I want kids and I want to raise them very open-minded, I'm not religious, but I'm going to take them to church. And I'm going to take them to, agnostic and atheist rallies. And I want them, and I'll give them time to make up their own decision. And I will love them no matter what, because I just want them to be happy. And I'll love them no matter what they do, whether that's, getting a regular job or pursuing a career, or, scrubbing toilets. I want them to be happy and have very high self-esteem and confidence. So when parents did that to us, they taught when parents are taught to do is, this exists not just in cults, but in all kinds of religious cultures and societies all over the world. They're instilling that low self-esteem and the members and the children, so they become dependent on the parents for approval and happiness. And when a child member expresses an interest in a passion or a hobby or something outside of the norm in the cult, they're pressured, judged, and socially blackmailed and forced to be put back into that box. So it is so important for you to chase your dreams now, sooner rather than later. And it's okay to take rest days, because when we were JWs, we were pressured to work all the time. I took a couple years to just be myself and work a regular job and vlog casually, and I'm more serious about it now because I realize the outside world is full of a lot of work and nobody gives a fuck, except for this community. You got to keep moving forward. So what everyone is afraid of is losing their friends and family, and I get this. I was disfellowshipped. I lost my mother. I lost her sister, my cousins, and about 2,000 Jehovah's Witnesses I grew up with in my small town, and all the Bethelites and pioneers that I was friends with and I only associated with. I lost all of them, and it was so painful. I am not negating how painful that is to have these people that you thought they cared about you. It's the worst breakup you could ever have. It's worse than getting broken up with by someone that you're dating that you could see a future with. It's way worse than that. We're talking like depressive as fuck. And I suggested everyone talk about it and go see a therapist. But everyone's afraid of losing their friends and family. And that is actually something the UN, the United Nations, doesn't allow. The United Nations thinks that someone should be able to leave and come freely from religion without any fear of being controlled. So all cultures, especially like Asian cultures, a lot of brown cultures. I was just having a conversation with someone who's Sikh and Muslim. I've met people from Mormonism and Scientology. They all go through this, is that fear of, disfellowshipping or being marked as, a suppressive person or being excommunicated, losing contact. That's such a scary thing. But that's using fear and control and calling it love. So I want you to be happy no matter what. Like, I want to be happy. Don't you want to be happy? Yes, exactly. So what you do doesn't really matter as long as you're not hurting people, obviously. And they may pose this as you're hurting them, but that's pure manipulation on their part. You got to let that go. So I had this difficult choice, and I didn't realize it until the time I had this difficult choice and didn't realize it at the time because it was all that I knew. I was still living at home. I wish that I had someone who made this clear to me a long time ago, but I'm glad that I have it now. A lot of cults do this to their members. So Bethel does this to Bethelites, and you've got to get a fucking job if you're still living at home, or a side passion or hustle, and get the fuck out. If you are living at home under their dime, culturally, they can tell you what to do. Culturally, it would be spoiled of you, because a lot of people are still living at home off of mom and dad's dime without the religion, and they are mad because they want to pursue their passion, but their parents are paying the bills. That's being straight spoiled. So you have to get out there, hustle your ass off, get a job, or, like flipping shit on eBay, driving Uber, whatever it is, or selling your art, or hustling for 10 years and building your, design firm or your business, or singing, whatever it is. That takes a lot of hustle. Just work your ass off to make as much money as you can and get the fuck out, because then you are on your own dime. You're on your own. No one can look at you and be like, well, he's living at home and he's being a spoiled. No, you did it on your dime. Disfellowshipping, disassociation, excommunication, whatever happens, you are doing this for you. And hopefully that'll be enough for you to get motivated to get your ass out. College might even be a thing. I'm kind of iffy on college. Like, as long as it is making you happy and it's not someone else's ideas they're forcing upon you, you have to go to college to make the parents look good, because that's a common thing too. Obviously, you can work hard and get a small thing or certification or degree in something to get you working, but always work on your side hustles and passions, because that will make you a much happier person. Let's see. By doing that, you're standing up for yourself, and you're being an adult. And for your sake and your children's sake and your own happiness and their happiness, the majority of us get, that blackmail, that disfellowshipping. But what you're doing, if you do that, you stand up for yourself and you move out and you get out on your own dime, is you're standing up for yourself and humanity. And several generations get off their payroll and work your fucking ass off. Work your face off. So basically what you're saying by doing that is, fuck you. I'm getting out of this toxic relationship, and maybe you'll figure it out while I'm gone for the next 5 to 10 years. I don't like giving that advice because it's in no way, shape, or form easy, and it's the hardest advice that I'll ever have to give, I think. Now, I did it, and I ran away from home when I was disfellowshipped. Like, I ran away from home. I moved in with this girl, and I was in a relationship with her for 3.5 years. And when I broke up with her, I was allowed to think for myself because I had very low self-esteem, and that's when I woke up. So I still stayed brainwashed for 3.5 years and was manipulative to her because I was trying to live up to JW standards, and the world's ending, so you have to act this way. It was just not happy or healthy for anybody. The next thing that I love to talk about is regret. So regret is poison. It's fucking poison. And that's a huge thing that a lot of ex-cult members and survivors have on their shoulders. Is I spent so many years of my life giving, and a lot of us feel like that time was wasted and it was taken from us and it was forced down our throats. So it wasn't our fault. I'm the first one to say it's not your fault. It's okay. I hear you. I feel you. There were so many things that I wish I could have done in my teenage years and beyond that. But I'm free as an adult to make a close circle of friends and new friends consistently who understand and don't judge me and pursue those passions anyway. Regret is fucking poison. So there's a lot of pressure even outside in the world because a lot of parents have low self-esteem too, and they're forcing their kids to have their shit together they have to know what they want to do by 18 and be chasing their dreams and killing it by 22, 25, 28, 30, 40, 50, and more. And when you wake up in any of those categories, you can feel like huge chunks, decades of your life were wasted. And you are absolutely valid on that. But spending a lot of time regretting and saying, I wasted my teenage years, my 20s, my 30s, my 40s, however old you are, is fucking poison, and it's a waste of time. It's okay to feel the way you need to feel. It's okay to cry. It's okay to let that out. But by having a hobby and taking care of yourself and making new friends and trying those things, you will be working on becoming a better person, and you're actively working on letting go of what you didn't do, because all of that pain that you went through is going to make you a better person, and you can use that to help others who are in the same situation. That's why I'm doing this vlog. So the reality is, like, all of us are young as fuck. We are all young as fuck, and who gives a flying sheep shit if we sucked in our previous JW days? Who gives a flying? We're not those same people anymore. You either in the process, beginning your journey, or way beyond that. And I've met a lot of not just ex-JWs, but ex-evangelical, ex-Christian, ex-Muslim, ex-Sikh, even Buddhists, which Buddhists are hella cool people, but the hardcore ones are crazy. So I think that you can't judge your past too much. Just take and say, like, what can I learn from this? And I have to constantly remind myself, because I go through different periods of depression myself, and I do have a therapist, and I've been diagnosed with depression, but I know how to overcome it much better by doing the things that I love to do, and acknowledging that those things are real. So, focus on what you should do. Okay, here we go. Last two things. We're going to focus on what you want to do, not what you should do. So besides the health stuff and eating better, and the rest of it is all, what are you passionate about? Like, if you don't even know, it's not your fault. But everyone who's raised from an early age, we'll talk about this in a second, is going to get hate for what they do. So, and really, that's just people that are jealous or want to judge them or don't understand, or who are raised with stigmas and ideas and systemic prejudices. Fuck the haters. You've got to fuck the hate. Say that in your head. Anyone that's giving you hate, and I get hate every day, is in a way worse position than you are. So I get it. Every day on my social media channels, Facebook, which I don't really use that much, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, I get hate. And just think about it. That person is taking their time to write you 10 paragraphs. You're probably going to see it in the comments down here below. Someone's going to be writing up a book of Job of hate. And they're in a way worse position than you are. And oftentimes when they're doing that, they just want attention and validation, or they just want to argue because they want to, well, I'm going to tell this person, blah, blah, blah. You're wasting your time. Like, you could be focusing on being happy. And if you don't like what I have to say, you clicked on my video and my thing or my page, you got to stop giving a fuck about what the haters say. So do that thing that you think you can't do because your self-esteem is low. You already have an idea of what you want to do. And oftentimes it's the first thing you think of. Go try it for 6 months. Go try it hardcore for a year. Do 1 or 2 things. Take it on. Make it work in your schedule. This is a lot to ask of people, even on outside of the world too. But taste it. And if you suck at one and you end up liking the other better, or you end up hating both of those and starting again in the next year or the next 5 years, that's okay. There's no judgment. You're figuring yourself out. That's what life is all about, is happiness and figuring yourself out and self-awareness and all that shit. So I just applaud you. Keep doing that if you already are, or get started. The reason why I bring that up is because, you know, the moment we're born, whether you're a Jehovah's Witness or not, we are conditioned and raised to gain the approval of whoever raised us in that society or culture that we're in. So our parents and the cult is a lot of unhealthy shit. It's all reactionary and it's not authentic. All reactionary and it's not authentic. Let that sink in. We're supposed to be living the way we want to live and chasing our happiness, but we were raised in compromising who we actually are. That's why a lot of people on the outside in the real world don't know who they are either, because they want, you know, they're afraid of what their parents are going to think. I'm like, start with the mom, start with the dad, and go down that list. They're afraid of too many people's judgment. That's why I have a really hard time in the dating world, is because I keep running into like a lot of people that have very low self-esteem, but I'm trying not to judge them, but I'm also trying to realize what's unhealthy for me when they're not willing to move forward and kindly cut that person out of my life. This happens continually. But when you meet someone who has high self-esteem and confidence and ambition and they're killing it, everyone has their own insecurities too. And it's good to be understanding. Those are the people that you hold on to. The best part about figuring that little bit out that I just said is stop compromising who you are. Stop giving a fuck about what you post on social media, as long as it's not like, you know, murdering people. But you can talk about the J-Dubs murdering people, because that's fucking awful. Blood transfusions and all that. The best part about being in Cult Survivors, you went through something drastic and you are free to rediscover who you are now. By doing all the things I just talked about, you are free to go and do. So stop wasting so much time regretting and spending time sad. And when you put all these little pieces together over time, it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen in a month. It doesn't happen in a year. It's for the rest of your life. You will become exponentially much more happy. Discovering who you are, Googling shit, going to meetups, talking to other survivors, and limiting your, you know, time with, you know, people who are maybe not making progress or ex-survivors. Like, be there, be friends with them, hang out, have a fun time, do some cool stuff. But also interact with people who don't think like that, who are successful and who are chasing their dreams and have high self-esteem. Because you can smell high self-esteem from a fucking mile away. And a lot of people who have confidence are told that they're pretentious. But dig a little deeper. You'd be surprised at what you'd find. People in cults and people in the real world don't know who they are because of that stuff. So this is why people, they're products of their environment, and they aren't self-aware usually, if ever. So I'm hoping that this sparks something in your brain. That's why this year, my content is beginning in like December, January. I started being a lot more straightforward. I started cursing more, and I realized that the no bullshit approach was my way of being kind, and a wake-up call that I wish someone would have said to me earlier. Because if I'm all soft and no fluff, and I'm a little bit soft and fluff when need be, and empathetic, but I also need to be straightforward, because I wish someone would do that for me. It's like, here, this is what happened that fucked you up. Now here's how to unfuck yourself. That's what I want to do for the community, as well as continue the activism work with changing laws and bills to make it harder for the Jehovah's Witnesses and all religions from hiding child abuse. I seriously don't hear a lot of other ex-JWs talking about this. If there are any, please leave them down below. I want to check out their channel. It's difficult for me to keep up because there's so many channels exploding right now, and it's really exciting. I want to be one of the first people, if not the first person on record, talking about this level of woke shit. At the end of that, life is really good. It's so good. It's hard, and it's not all black and white. And in the cult world, they think it's all black and white, but in the real world, it's full of gray and a lot of color. You can find me on Instagram at Kameron Fader. Subscribe here, on TikTok at Kameron Fader, and my Facebook page at Kameron Fader. Come follow me, send me a message. It does take me a while to respond usually because I've got a flood of message coming in, but connect with me, say hi, ask me a question, or leave a question down below that I can answer in the next video, because I'm really excited to share this level of woke and confidence with you so you can begin to start your journey faster. What are you struggling with? What is holding you back? What are you afraid of? How do you want to change your passion? Should I share my fitness and stuff routine? Because I lost 70 pounds as a kid, and I've, slowly dropped. Like, I lost 25 pounds in the last 3 years from being an XJW or a brainwashed JW to an XJW. And I'm working on my last 6 pounds, I think, right now, which is crazy. And I'm already in pretty decent shape right now. It's just always the next level of getting in. Then I want to buff up a little bit for me. I'm not doing it for validation or to get girls, although it's a side benefit. That is pretty cool. It's feeling good and adding years to my life that I'm worried about. Because, huge chunk of my life was already dedicated to the cult. So now I want to add as many years of life I have to live a healthy life. Finally, if you haven't seen the video where I posted y'all helping me get this beautiful MacBook right here. Sorry, my desk is a mess. Thank you. You helped me on GoFundMe. You helped me with $1,500, and I provided the rest for a $2,600 and AppleCare Plus included MacBook, so I can edit vlogs and videos again. So you'll be seeing that awesome, beautiful content in some older vlogs that I had shot a long time ago, including the 2019 highly requested memorial trip. That was very traumatic, and I'm very excited to share that. If you haven't seen that thank you video for the MacBook Pro, I'll put a link at the end of this video. I'm still filming on my phone as well. So if you want to donate, if you have watched 5 to 10 of my videos on Instagram or pictures or YouTube, and you have benefited from it or send it to someone and it's benefited them, I still think I'm in a position to ask for help on some GoFundMe, because I still want to replace the camera that's broken. Even though I've had help from friends, I don't want to keep holding onto their gear and keep hey, can I borrow this? Can I borrow that? You're still helping me out. And I'm excited. I'm thinking about, I've been really proud to be an ex-JW lately. For a moment, I didn't want to be known as just that ex-Jehovah's Witness kid, but I'm thinking about coming out with some bracelets, some rubber bracelets with some inspirational sayings on there. I'm going to run a survey on that and get your opinion on it, like a poll. So if you're on Instagram or TikTok, follow me, because I'll be asking you about that there. And if you see this, you're a real OG, watch it. This is a hell of a long video. But yeah, if you've seen my videos and you've benefited from 5 to 10 of them, please donate, especially if you feel you've gained some insight and some value from that. If you're still in the cult, please don't donate. Just save your money so you can get the fuck out and live on your own dime and begin your real life and be your true, authentic self. So that GoFundMe link is in the description. Until then, brothers and sisters, I'll see you in the next video.